So we actually had two orc players on here that went 4-1 at this event. We have our boy Tom Godfrey. So you should check out that interview. He talks all about how he functions with that Warhorde list and how he performs so well, so consistently. So, but right behind him, the tactical get, the cunning lad was right on his heel, trying to get stuck in there and end up at the top. So great job getting 4-1, losing his fourth game. Let's take a look at Lucas. And of course, I see you chat. What's up? I'll respond with that too. So he said Badrick's gone. We don't even know Badrick might come back. You know, like what's up? I'm not sure, but we've been saying it. I mean, he's important. So here we go. Tactical Brigade. We got the Beast Boss on foot, followed by something we haven't seen in a long, long time. The Beast Boss on Squigosaur. Whoa, that's what I'm talking about, dude. When was the last time we seen a freaking B-Boss on Squigosaur, especially in anything other than Warhorde, right? That's awesome. But this has Mork's Cunning, so he has the redeploy. You know, keep in mind, like if you're not remembering, if you have a redeploy, you cannot be in a transport to activate it unless it says that on the enhancement. Like our newest detachment for the Blitz Brigade. In this one, you can just do any 3 units, but you have to be not within a transport, meaning he's just holding that and he gives out orders because he's a war ball. So maybe he's like a little tough to get. Let's see what else we got. We have the Big Mech and Mega Armor, of course, our pseudo Captain Badrug with the re-rolls, and the revive and the healing. We got 2 Big Mechs with shock attack guns with 1 Snickra. Snickra here at least serves other multi-rolls than just scoring. He can actually bed some tactics around. We have another 20-man unit of Snagger, guys. All right, I'm taking it. Told you all kids, let's go. Nah, I know it's not universal always happening and the exceptions don't make the rule necessarily, but I've always said that this is a very, very, very viable alternative that you should look into and get some reps in, and it helps pay off some, points and such. So look at other videos when I said when the changes happen with gas or how to run anything. You've been seeing the videos. 20 snaggers goes a long way. Very cool to see them actually make it into this detachment alongside their beast boss. We have the weird part, triple death treads, all of them with 4 dread claws. That's insane. That's quite insane. You can give the orders to them to like reroll charges, and you can, one coming from reserve. And we had Brandon on here. Shout out to Brandon. Brandon's gonna be like, I told you so, you get. So he's gonna get me right back right after I just said I told you. He's been like, I told you about the dread the death treads. So when he was doing an interview, when he was playing Tactical Brigade, which one was another good result, like I think like a month ago or 2, he was saying how he uses 1 death tread as like a skirmisher, getting in fights, calling the enemy attention, that he's really, really good at being disruptive and tiny. And I'm always like poo-pooing it because how kind of easy it is to destroy. Somehow this game made it work with so much redundance. That's pretty crazy. We have 2 big 10-man units of flashy gits. And then 1, of course, is with the captain. 2 Gretchen, 1 commando unit with all the fixins, it looks like, or most of them. Yeah, you had all the fixins. And then, unlike you assumed, it is not 2 tank buster units, but 2 Luta bombs. We got 2 Luta units alongside those shock attack guns, guys. That's crazy. Love to see it. He put shooters on the spanners. I think that was just an auto. I doubt he had that, but if he had that, more power to him. I assume maybe he had something else. Who knows? Maybe he really did put the shooters on there and he just wanted volume, and somehow this unit paid off. We do know they can get +1 to hit. Objective, they re-roll the hit rolls. That's pretty sick. When they're hitting on 5s, it's pretty much like having sustain anyways, but maybe a little better. The thing here is typically you're not really doing much into like the tough units or anything with a good armor save, but there's a lot of this. I have big guns and then I have stupid trash in front of me, like guard unit, Tal unit, Groot, even orcs ourselves. There's a bunch of 10-man bricks that can be running around, maybe even some 20-man units running around to counter the meta as well. So this could have been a meta call where he understood what was in his meta. I know if he's playing UKTC terrain, which he is because he's with Tom Godfrey, that means that he can take these really, really long firing lanes down the UKTC terrain. So if you know that you're going to play on GW terrain, they have some really long firing lanes in some of those, and you're going to play this event, Ludas could be an alternative. But last but not least, he brought a Squig Hogboy unit. So this list gets number 1 for the most flavor I've seen in like the last 6 months of just picking all of the list units that you would never consider to be viable or competitive to get you to 4-1. I do this all the time. I look at this all the time. You don't see it that often. Triple death treads with double Luda bricks with the Squig and a Beast Boss all rolled up into Tac Brigade. So very exciting here. Let's take a look at what he ran. And yeah, someone said right here, I I don't think I can run this on WTC. That's why I said he's playing on UKTC terrain. So I'm sorry about that. You get hopefully another rumor I've been seeing is that WTC might roll into GW terrain and they might actually be using it. There is going to be discretion. There's still a lot to be discussed, but if we could all get on that universal terrain, that would be awesome. Setting up a game of Warhammer 40K can be a hassle, but it doesn't have to be. I want to highlight the best battle mat I've ever used. A 40K grid measuring mat with present battle lines for every official deployment zone, including the upcoming additions. Whether you're setting up for Crucible of Battle, Search and Destroy, it can only take a couple of minutes to get everything dialed in and ready to go. For us orc players, the grid is a total game changer. Each square is an exact 1 inch, so it's super easy to maintain unit coherency with big mobs, maintain aura ranges, or pile-ins. It also helps remove all those finicky measuring movements like checking charges or small within 6 inches movements because you can simply count the squares and keep the game flowing. On top of that, it makes the game easier with table quarters and positioning for secondaries. I've been using it for months and it genuinely makes the game better, smoother for both players. If you want to upgrade your setup and support the channel, check out the affiliate link in the description. Upgrade your game and support the Great War with lighter, creative 40K grid mats. So we go to his first matchup, which was the Tyranids. Awesome. I have an idea what's happening here. Brood Lords, Winged Hive Tyrant. Oh, cool. Double 10 man units of Hormigons and then a 20 man of Termagants. Just speaking of those little trash units that run up and get stuck in fights. Biovores, double Exocrines, double 10 man units of Gene Stealers, and a 5-man. High pressure environment here. This gets running right at you. One Neurolictor with double Norn emissaries and a Tyrannofex. So awesome. Look who we got here. We got 2 big 10-man units of the Flashy Gits. Flashy Gits would totally tear up some Gene Stealers, whether if it's shooting them and charging into them. We got the Ludas. That would be nasty on Overwatch if they decide to sit one of those 20-man bricks on an objective early game or try to close the distance with the Hormigons, which sometimes these people like to do. And then, of course, you themselves a Captain Badrook unit, which is nasty on Overwatch. So you could just say, I'm going to leave them outside and just annihilate them. So you're giving +1 to hit. And then following his little monsters and or his Norn emissary, you have Death Dreads coming in. But it is interesting to think that he was able to take down Norns. It is because, in my opinion, that they don't have access to like an Armor of Contempt here. Very, very low AP other than these Death Dreads on this list. But keep in mind, Beast Boss with the Gits can end up getting lethal anyways from a strat in this attachment. So you can still run strats on there. Give them lethal, re-roll, and then utilize the Beast Boss, or give themselves any kind of buff to deal with other anti-infantry. Like if they give themselves +1 strength and then they get into a fight, they can end up being strength 6, which totally annihilates T3 models as well. So if they ever need to blend stuff up as too. And then, like I said, the interesting part, shock attack guns, I am interested and curious of how the Ludas were doing when they're just going to be shooting on their profile into a Norn. I mean, there was a lot of question marks here, but I guess between just the ability to kill all his scoring chaff units, and not having great targets for like a Tyrannofex, and squigs here into these kind of units like Gene Stealers and Neurolictors, right? I'll just throw them at you. Like, all right, fine, let's get in that fight. You have to be careful for the Exocrines, but then everything else can still stage up quite aggressively. So if you look at everything other than Norn, he has perfect tool, and the Tyrannofex, I guess he has perfect tools into killing them, and then kind of focus down the Norm. So he's not that very high in toughness. So like you're just winning him on 5s, not 6s. So he ended up coming out getting a 99-point win. Would love to see the list there and how that. Remember on UKTC terrain, it's very easy to go in the middle and then stage and jump out. So this kicked off right away. So deployment would be greatly important in that matchup. Then we have second game, which is the Imperial God Grizzled Company, Cadian Commander, Cadian Command Squad, Tempestus Scion Command Squads, 3 of those, cool, spammy. Nork, Ogren Bodyguard, and a Rogodorn. We have a 20-man unit of Cadian Shock with 10 Deathcord Krieg, triple Chimera, triple 10-man Kazarkins, triple 5-man units of Combat Engineers, triple, I was going to say the same thing, but it is. Triple Tempestus Scions, but 2 or 5s and 1's 10. So very much samey. Again, his unit selection was clearly an understanding of his meta. Tons and tons of 3 wound bodies. So taking Luda's out there, taking what they have 2 damage, low AP, high good volume, re-rolling, long ranges of fire, good overwatching, on top of the flash kit guns, on top of the actual mech captain guns, on top of all of the strength 6 punches you could be using from the Beast Snagga boys, to end up punching through all of these walls of guys that are possibly going to have feel no pains, and like the Deathcore Krieg, I think they obviously they have their feel no pain as well. And then you still have to control and occupy space because you can't let all the signs drop in and just pick you off either. So orders might be coming maybe defensively for some of those units for stealth and cover to help. He doesn't have like really, really good long range firepower support. He's definitely playing the I'm going to drop in, I'm going to throw mortals at you, and then to do most of my damage with just a bunch of chip damage and try to get that. And then one Rogel Dorn. That's what I thought. He had one Rogel Dorn. That was his only long range firepower. So you could end up just playing stealth and cover on some of these units so they survive longer and then getting in that fight on the go turn. Because guard wants to meet you on the halfway line, right? And so very clearly his list is a reflection of his meta. And then we have Ricky, another Astra Militarum list, Dorn, triple Dorn commanders, double chimeras, 1 Bulgrin, 2 Kazarkin, double or triple exterminator. So this is mostly hull spam with a little bit of Bulgrin screen and a little bit of elite infantry. So again, stealth and cover. Those weapons on those tanks down there are mostly anti-vehicle. Got to hide your squigs. And really, really hunker down when it's on your go turn, but you'll have a good amount of bodies and OC into this matchup. And I'd like to see the mission, because where would these Death Treads end up going into these units? Like, would Death Treads go into the Bulgrins? Or, I mean, are we using these to punch down little chimeras? I mean, so I'm really interested in how he could use this. It must be something on UKTC to move those little dudes so much, because GW usually 1 is already interesting enough call. Great job there. I think it's one of those things where you're picking up all their scoring units and then just tagging up their trucks like on tanks. Like, okay, I guess we're just going to play this game. You're just not going to score that much. Then we go into this 4th game where we ended up losing, which was into the Chaos Space Marines, Renegade Raiders. We have Fabius, Bile, Cypher, Huron, Blackheart, and Vastra. Did Huron like get like a buff or something? What is going on here? Did I miss that? Did Huron Blackheart got a buff? I think that's a jetpack dude, right? I'm over this. Like, and if he did get a buff, I'm not even mad. My friend loves that model. No, it's not. Huron's that little turd dude on foot. Okay, never mind. All right, never mind. I thought he was a jetpack guy. Not excited. Feel no pain within 6 +1 OC. Once per battle, fall bark. Okay, that's the guy that everybody's been talking about over here. I get it. So you got a bunch of cool rules. Vashtor, we have 10 cultists, 210 cultist mobs, triple rhino, 1 big brick of chosen, a small unit chosen, and another big of chosen. All right. Chosen are like their elite infantry, so they get 3 wounds, a little bit of toughness more. They can advance, fall back, shoot, charge. Awesome. Double Forge Fiends, excuse me. And then a Master of the Maelstrom with some Red Corsairs. So at least it's not a bunch of defilers, and gunline. It was very much a fighty type of thing. What I do know is kind of fast. Like Chosen are kind of fast. Those other guys are kind of fast. That I just said. Oh, who was the other? I'm a brain fart. Chosen. That was a Chosen. Chosen were kind of fast and still decent firepower coming from this list. We got my boy Fabius Bow. Fabius Bow. Those guys can stage up inside transports to kind of do the orc thing to us. Once per battle, and the enemy is a normal move or advance within 9 of this model's unit, it can make a normal move up to D3+3. Cool. Love that. I appreciate that. At the end of the movement or anything. And then, like I said, he gives more objective control to these bodies. So he's playing the primary mission. He's playing the pressure game mission. Cool to see. Fabius Bile, I actually am a fan of that kid overall. 49 points there. Fall, no shame there. Really odd kind of meta going on there. So would love to know more detail about that. And then we go to the last game, which is the Gene Stealer Code. The triple abominance, a patriarch, a reductive saboteur, an acolyte with some pistols, triple units of hand flamer. 5 units of hand flamer gets minimum size unit. 1 Goliath, 10-man unit of aberrants, followed by 2 small units of aberrants, 2 individual Achilles Ridge runners, 1 big brick of pure strains, followed by 2 5 pure strains. It's like the other matchups. He actually won. He had a bunch of weapons that were ideal into these targets. T3 bodies in mass everywhere on the field, relying on some kind of shooting support, and then on top of having a bunch of walls of trash, and then he'd have his abominants come in. So he can endure some of the firepower, clean up the screens. Enemy has to commit with his real units, pick up those real units, and then you're in a better winning position. So awesome to see their 88-point win. Fantastic odd list from Luca. Of course, this was from the UKTC terrain. So for us that are not on there. There's just things we can take as a grain of salt for things to learn, like the Snagas, the Def Dreads, having Boss Snickrod, of course, consideration of a redeploy with some kind of mounted unit so you can incorporate into the unit, go old fashioned Big Mech, and then any from there you can kind of adjust based off other lists we've seen. I've been trying to enjoy Squigs, but in reality, as I said earlier when I started this, would this list just be better with WAAAGH and then it's actually cooking, especially on a GW terrain? I guess we'll have to see.
Let's get stuck in, lads!